Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2022 Ford Edge, we're going to be showing you how to install the CURT Trailer Hitch receiver. Before we get into that though, let's just take a minute, check this out, and make sure it's going to work for you. When it comes to picking out a hitch for the Edge, there's quite a few options available. And when it comes to this one, I feel like this is kind of that good general purpose all-around trailer hitch. It's going to work good for towing, work good for accessories, and look pretty decent as well. It sits up relatively tight against the bottom of the Edge. If you're looking for something that, in my opinion, blends in a little bit better, eTrailer carries one like this, and it's a matte black finish. It kind of matches the bumper color a little bit better. Or if you're trying to have something that's, for the most part, completely hidden, those are available as well, where you'll just see the receiver tube opening. So, whatever you're trying to accomplish, there's going to be a hitch that's right for you. We do get a lot of people wondering if their vehicle's hands-free liftgate assist feature is still going to be able to work with the hitch in place. Unfortunately today, our model doesn't come equipped with it, so I can't show you, but I do know from past experience it will still function. Just take a little getting used to find that sweet spot. What you're going to have to do is kick your foot to either side of the receiver tube opening and you'll get it to open up. This is a class 3 hitch, so it's going to have the 2" by 2" receiver tube opening. That is a really common size. A ton of different things are going to work with it. It's going to use the standard 5/8 pin and clip. A pin and clip doesn't come included with the hitch. If you need one, not a huge deal. You can always grab it here at eTrailer. And a lot of times too, if you end up buying a new accessory, a lot of times will come with a pin and clip. So something to think about. The safety chain openings are going to be a plate style, and even though they're relatively small in size, they should allow you to use just about any size hook that your trailer might have on it. As far as the hitch's weight capacities go, it's going to have a 600-pound maximum gross tongue weight rating, and that's going to be the amount of weight pushing down on the hitch. That's a pretty high number. You should be able to use just about any size bike rack or cargo carrier that you'd want to, for example. As far as the maximum gross trailer weight rating is concerned, that's going to be 4,000 pounds. It's the amount of weight pulling on the hitch. So the weight of your trailer plus anything you might have in or on it. I do always like to recommend though, it's never a bad idea just to grab your Ford's owner's manual. That way you can check in there and make sure your SUV can handle that much weight safely. We'll go ahead, grab a couple measurements, and these will help us figure out what type of accessories will work best. From the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening, it's going to be about 13 inches. So if you can get an accessory that has a raise in the shank, you'll probably be better off, give you some more ground clearance. And that'll hold true for a ball mount as well if you plan on doing some towing. Anywhere from that 2 to 4 inch range would probably work good for most people. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of the rear bumper, that's going to be about 6 inches. And you can use that to help figure out if any folding type accessories that you might have can be stored in that upright position without hitting the back of your Ford. Other than that, it's going to be a great all-around hitch that will get the job done. In terms of getting this installed, it's really not too bad. So as long as you take your time and stay focused, you really shouldn't run into too many issues. With that said, why don't we go ahead, pull into the garage, and get started on it now. To begin our installation, we're going to be here underneath the back of our Edge, and what we're going to need to do is remove some underbody panels. So we're going to have one on each side of our car. There's going to be a total of 4 fasteners holding each panel on, so 2 along this outside edge. I'm using a 5.5 millimeter socket. We can change out to a 10 millimeter socket and get these 2 removed. And I want to mention from this point on, anything we do to one side of our vehicle, we'll also do it to the other side because it'll be set up the same way. With all that off, we should be able to pull down on our panel and set it off to the side. We're going to need to let the exhaust come down a little ways. That way it'll give us some more room to work. So before we do that, you want to take a strap, and I'm going to run it from side to side, tighten it up, and that way we can kind of control how fast and how far we let our exhaust come down. There's going to be a total of 2 rubber isolator hangers, just like this. So I'll have one on each side of our muffler. Spray these down with soapy water, and take a pry bar, and work one end of it off. Once you get both of them removed, you can then loosen up your strap and let the exhaust come down a little ways. What we're able to do now is get our hardware in place. And we're gonna have 3 attachment points. We're gonna be using this hole, this one, as well as this one. In the access hole, or the location where we're actually gonna feed our hardware into the frame, is right back here at the end of the frame rail. You can't see it, but you can feel it pretty easily. There's a large opening at the back here where it opens up. So we're gonna start with this one and then kind of go here and there. So you're gonna take the coiled end of your fish wire and feed it towards the back. Sometimes you'll get lucky, it'll come right out of there. Other times, you'll just have to reach up there and kind of help guide it out. There it is. When you're doing this too, be careful not to pull your wire through there, because then you'll have to kind of redo it, and kind of a bummer. But what you're gonna do is take a spacer block and a carriage bolt, and that'll just thread onto into the fish wire. And I like to separate them and feed them in there one at a time. Until they drop in. The one on the side here, pull it all the way out until it's flush, and then just push it back in a little bit. That way, when we go to put the hitch up, that bolt won't be interfering with it. But we're just gonna do that exact same thing for our remaining attachment points here. Now with an extra set of hands, we can get our hitch into position. So you want to push the pull wires through the holes in the hitch. And kind of feed it up. Just the hardware passes through. And with this side bolt, you want to pull it out and kind of support the hitch with your hand. But a lot of times the weight of the hitch will also kind of keep the bolt from moving on you. Then you want to take a flange nut and get all the hardware started hand tight. That way it'll be supported. As far as the remaining hardware on the inside, going to do the same thing. Get that pull wire out of the way. And put on a flange nut. With all the hardware in place and tight, you can come back with a 19mm or 3/4 inch socket and snug it all down. With all of the hardware snug, you want to be sure to come back and use a torque wrench and tighten it down to the amount specified in the instructions. Now we can trim our underbody panel to get them back in position. There's a diagram of the instructions, but essentially just cut out this portion. I'm using a pair of snips here. This is kind of thick plastic, so a pair of snips like this will work. Or a Dremel tool would do the trick as well. Anything along those lines. Went ahead and reinstalled our panels the opposite way that we removed them, with one exception. We only put one nut on the frame rail because the hitch is in the way of the other one. We cut it out. So from there, you can re-lubricate the exhaust hangers and slide them back on. I already got the other side on, and we'll go ahead and get our strap out of the way. And that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the CURT Trailer Hitch receiver on our 2022 Ford Edge.